Hello everybody. This video is part of a 3 series video where we're gonna go through the first semester project. In this video will be the first part where we model the project itself. Okay, so in the next hour or so we're gonna end up to have a house like this. We're gonna go through all the techniques and follow-up procedures to have it according to the brick standards. Um, Something that's going to look like is going to look like something like this. We're going to place some furniture. We're going to play with some alignments, with some special tools, how to create a foundation as well for our building. And especially what we're going to create, we're going to create a parametric design that adapts to our necessities. And to revise now, to make changes on this building, it will be really easy. It will follow a certain pattern of we're going to create some rules, so then if we adapt our design, it will be automatically changed, so we don't have so much work in the future. So follow me in this hour or so video for the modeling of this house. Okay, so going forth, what we need to do, we need to create a new model. It's going to be based on the architectural template from Autodesk. We're going to create a new project. We press OK. After loading the project, what I need to do, I need to create a grid system that reflects my brick bonds and my brick structure. So my first layer of grids, it's going to be spaced from 1200. And for that, I'll come to the architectural tab, to the grids. I'm going to create the first grid. Doesn't matter, it doesn't really matter where. Just going to create it somewhere here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this this grid sometimes. To do that, I'm going to select the grid itself, and I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to just say create similar. The shortcut for this command is CS. From now on, I'm just going to go shortcut this command. So create similar. I'm going to pick lines. I'm going to define an offset of 1200, and I'm going to copy to the right. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to copy until 14. After copy 14 times, I'm just going to select them all, place them more or less in the center. Nothing to be really picky here at this moment. Maybe what I'm going to do, I'm just going to shorten them out. They are too long at this stage because my building is a bit square. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go drag one, and because they are all snapped to each other, I'm just going to grab one and another one here on top, something like this. If I need further adjustment, I'll do it later. Okay, so at the moment I need to create, so I created the grids on the y-axis. I need to create something on the x-axis, so I'm just going to select them all. I'm going to rotate. No options in here. No, I want to copy them when I rotate. The center of rotation, it's okay by me. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to select here on this side, so then I can snap go, and I'm going to just type 90. That's going to be the 90 degrees that I'm going to create my system. Okay. At this stage, it's a good idea to rename your grids from A, B, C, so use letters instead of numbers, so it's easier to relate. That's what I'm going to do. So on the first one, I'm going to say it's an A, and I'm going to go through all of them. Maybe I need more grids at this stage, I'm not sure. What I know is that my new iteration of the Kingo house will have something like 16 meters on the x-axis and 14, maybe 15 on the y-axis. So I'm just going to place some dimensions here now, so then I know if these grids, they suit my design. I'm going to place these dimensions in here. So then I see that in this one I have 15.6. That's fine by me. This one as well. I think I need another grid on this size. So I'm just gonna go here, create similar through the shortcut CS, and pick line and an offset of 1200. So I'm just gonna place it here, and because I was doing this one, it picks the next letter, so I need to change this one to be 15. Okay, so now I'm just gonna change this dimension. So at this moment is referencing this grid line. I'm going to change it witness lines to remove from this one and to attach to this one. So this is now my new dimension here, 16.8, and it will follow my design. Yeah, it will follow my design. So one thing that I know for now is that my house is going to be an L-shape house, and I'll just do generic dimensions, something that I can revise in the future. So I'm just going to do it roughly. So I'm just going to place some walls. This case is going to be generic. I'm going to go generic 375. It represents, it's closer to my design. I know it's going to be around 400 and something. So I'm just going to place generic 375. I'm going to check here. I'm going to draw by line. Yeah, that's correct. I'm going to go height. That's connect. I'm going to go up. Then I'm going to be connected to level 2. And I want to do, this is really important, what I want to do, draw them by using the finish face exterior. And I'm doing this because I know that at some point I will come here and select my own wall. So I'm going to select the one I've created for myself, and I want them to be aligned again from the finish face exterior. So if I draw them on the finish face exterior, this line will keep always in the same location. Okay. So finish face exterior, I'm just gonna keep the same wall. Finish face exterior chain, yes. I don't want any offset, and I want them to be joined, yes. Okay, so at this moment, I'm just gonna start from here. I'm gonna go until the end of the line. Place something like here. Just gonna go and change this. I'm escaping from the command, so I'm not using the wall command anymore. I'm gonna change to shaded so that I see some materials. It's just easier for my seeing. Okay, so push again the command wall. Everything should be correct now. Height, second level, finish face exterior. So everything is correct. And one thing that I'm gonna do something something like this. So what's happening in here is that I'm doing the finish face exterior, but as you notice in here is that the finish face exterior is coming on the opposite side that I want. So one thing that I have to do to change that, I click on the space bar and it will change the location of it's the same. So I'm still drawing the finish face exterior, but I'm changing the wall direction. So bricks on the inside, bricks on the outside. That's what I want. I want bricks from the outside. So I'm just going to connect here. They will join automatically. So continuing here, something like this. Okay, at the moment, I know for sure that this is not my design. Actually, this wall needs to be moved to the right, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to move it. I could also move it using this. Just move the wall itself. I'm just going to go backward a little bit here. But what I'm going to do here, I'm going to use another command. It's called the align command, and I can find it into the modify tab. And on the modify panel, I can align shortcut AL. And the way this command works, I'm preferring to do wall faces. Yes, that's correct. And it's asking me for a reference for alignment. So I'm going to select a reference. I want my wall to come until here. And I want something to come until here. And what's that something? That something is going to be this face of the wall. Okay, so it's a bit closer. It's a bit more correct. Okay, so at this point, my overall design is more or less correct, but something that I'm forcing my design to be, so I'm not giving it so much freedom, is that my house is going to be multiple of 5 bricks because it follows the grid, and sometimes I want for the last one to be just 4 bricks or 3 bricks. So one thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to create some reference planes where I can attach my walls to it, and those planes is going to be, so I'm going to divide the grid from 1 to 2. I'm going to divide it into 5 reference planes. So I'm going to create a reference and dividing this by reference planes. So I'll come to the architectural tab, to the reference plane command shortcut RP. From now on, I'm going to use the shortcut. So first reference plane, I'm just gonna draw it anywhere. I don't really care about the location of it, so I'm just gonna draw first the first reference plane, and it needs to be vertical, of course. And what I'm gonna do after that, I'm just gonna dimension it 240 from the first the grid line number 1, right? So click in here. I have these temporary dimensions here. I can change the witness line of this temporary dimension. Instead of being on the center of the wall, I'm gonna move it to the grid. It's not snapping to the grid, so what I'm doing, while I'm clicking on my left mouse, I'm just gonna tab until I find the grid, and I'm gonna release it. 375. I'm gonna change this value to be 240. 240. Oh, sorry. Okay, so now my reference plane is correct. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to click on it, CS for creating similar, pick the line, an offset of 240, and I'm going to copy it. So then I have 5 spacings for the grids. Okay, so my first one is done. What I need to do, I need to select them all, and I need to copy them. So options of copy, I don't have so many. And constrain, and I have to check the multiple command because I'm going to copy this multiple times. So click on the starting point, end point, several endpoints. I'm only allowed to do this because I selected the multiple copy command, something like this. So what I'm going to do the same on the other direction, and I'll catch you up after. Okay, so after creating reference planes in the other direction as well, my design, of course, it will be a bit more flexible. So what happens now is that I can use this brick line here to this reference line that represents my brick line to align my walls. So the shortcut is AL for the align command. I'm going to select the reference. So I'm going to, instead of selecting a normal grid, I'm going to select the reference plane as an alignment, and then I'm going to come here and I'm going to select the wall line, and I can do the same for this wall and the same for this wall. Okay, so I know that my brick standard, it will follow and it will be completely correct. Okay, so at the moment, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to have some dimensions from the walls itself. So again, here I'll come here, I'll change the witness lines to be the face of the wall. So I have to tab again, and then I'll get the wall itself. Okay, so this is correct. I have to delete this one from the grid, so I'll just place it outside here. So I know that my house is going to be 15804. This one is correct, and I'm going to just create more dimensions here from the shortcut. I'm going to select the wall. I have to notice that if I come here and if I tab first time, what I'm doing, I'm selecting the grid. If I tab another time, I select the other reference line, and at some point, as now, I'm selecting the wall, and that's what I want. I don't want to select the grid, I want to select the wall, because that's what matters for my design. So click again, not the reference line, the wall. Yes, that's what I want, and that's the dimension I'm looking for. I'm gonna do the same on all dimensions, and I'm gonna check these dimensions with the PDF given from the semester and check if my dimensions are correct. Of course, your designs, they're gonna be all different, so this is just an example. Feel free to use your own dimensions, and it's recommended to use your own dimensions to fit your design. Okay, so this is the dimensions that work for me. Something that is bother me a little bit, it's the reference planes. They are too visible and they're just creating too much information on mine. It's a bit sloppy. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come to the VG, so I'm gonna come to the visual graphics of this view itself. I'm gonna go to the annotation categories, and I'm gonna find the reference planes. Here they are. I want to see them, so I'm gonna keep this checked in, but I want them to become halftone, so it doesn't bother me so much. So I'm gonna apply for now. Just say okay. Okay, it's a bit easier to work now. One thing that I want to do at this point, um, I want to create a floor to my house. And what I'm gonna do, because I'm on level 1, I'm gonna go to the architecture. I'm gonna go to floor, floor architectural, and I'm gonna keep the generic for now. I'm gonna edit it after. But one thing that I want to do, I want to do the boundary line, and I want to pick up walls. And I want to pick up walls. Why? Because in the future, if I pick up walls and instead of pick upping lines, if I change my walls, my if I change my design, let's say if I change this wall to the left or to the right, my floor will follow my design. So the idea here is that I create a design that is parametrically connected, and if I change anything on my design, everything will follow up. So I don't have to redo my floor, I don't have to redo my foundation and my roof, for instance, and it just keeps things easier. So I'm going to pick up walls. Offset, I'm not going to say, I'm going to say 0. Extend to wall core, I'm going to say no. I don't want to extend to the core wall. What I'm going to do, I'm going to select this wall for now. I'm going to see, I don't want I don't want to go to the external face, so I want to go to the internal face. I'm going to flip this direction. I'm going to select these ones now, so I'm going to just go around the house and select all walls to finish my design. So now I press finish. If I check my 3D, if I check my 3D now, I'm just going to put some colors into it. So I'm going to go shade it. I can see that my floor goes until the internal edge because I'm going to have a foundation here. And the idea here is that if I'll do a window tile, so I'll come to view, tile windows, so I'm going to have them side by side, so I have the 3D in here. So I'm just going to focus on this section here. The idea is that if I change this wall now, let's say I'm going to align this wall again to another reference plane, so I'm going to align it to this reference plane. My floor follows me, and my design is just easier to work with. So I'm going to go undo this last command that I did, and at this point what I'm going to create some foundations under the walls. So in order to do that, I'm just going to close the 3D for now, and in order to do that, I'm going to go to structure. I'm going to go to the foundation panel, and on the foundation I'm going to select the wall foundation. On the wall foundation, I need to, if I see the prompt here in the bottom, select walls to place foundation under. So it's just a matter of selecting the walls itself. But before that, I need to make sure that my foundation is correct. So I have two kinds of foundations. I have to create my own. I can just use this one, and I'm gonna duplicate its name and its type. So I'm gonna go retaining footing, and I'm gonna go 900 deep. Sorry. On its parameters here, I don't want to have any toe length, any heel length, and I want my foundation thickness to be 900. So it's going to be 900 from 0, and that's what I want. I don't want it to extend from the walls, so the thickness of my foundation will be the same of my walls all the time. If I change my walls, it will rearrange, and I don't want any length to be from the outside or from the inside. So that's why I want to be justified. I want to be really justified with my walls. So this is what I'm going to do. Okay, so now I'm going to select, I'm just selecting walls. So at the moment, actually, I can select, of course, they're not visible because they are under the walls. So I'm going to select multiple. I'm going to select this wall, sorry, this wall, this wall, this wall, this wall, and this wall, because I already selected the other one. I'm going to finish it, And again, the same error saying the elements are not visible because they are below its view range. Yeah, that's fine. Let's check the 3D again, and that's more like it. This is what I'm looking for. One thing that so in order to change from this view to this view, I'm going to use Control Tab. So Control Tab to move between the views. One thing that I wanted to see, I'm going to just window tile the two views. And one thing that because I selected the walls one more time, if I change this wall again to the right, the foundation will follow, and that's what I really want. And I want a parametric design that will adapt everything that I do. It will adapt as fast as possible. So Control Z to keep the alignment. Okay, so at this point I need to create my building is standing in the air. I need to create some topography um, just for referencing. And the way I'm going to create topography is that I'm going to close this 3D view, and I'm going to go to site, my site view. What I'm going to do, I'm going to right click on one reference plane. I'm going to say hide in view, and I'm going to hide the category. So I'm going to hide all the reference planes. Um, it's a bit better. And in order to create my topography, I will need to go to the Messingen site, topo surface. I'm going to place points. The elevation of the point is going to be 0, and that's correct. So I'm just going to place points. Actually, I'm going to use the elevations symbology just to place my, so then I know it's going to be a square. Nothing to be really precise in here. And I'm going to finish it. Yes. So if we check my 3D now, I'll see that my foundation, my topography is in place, but I have a problem is that once I'm starting to get these graphical errors where it gets mixed, my floor gets mixed with my topography, that means that my topography actually it's inside the building as well, so I need to cut my topography to accommodate my building. And the way I do that, I come to site one more time, and I need to create a building path. That's what I need to do. Again, I want my topography, my building path to be parametric and adjust to my design iterations. So I'm gonna select the walls in here, the offset, same as the floor, 0, not to extend to the core. And I'm going to do this. So in this case it's correct. I want my building path to be on the finish face exteriors, just selecting it, and I'm going to say finish. If I go to 3D now, I shouldn't have the same error. It's not the same error, um, because if I select my building path, I can see the contour line in here, and I know this is open now. Okay. Um, at this point in my building, it's looking more or less. I'm gonna go to level 1. I'm gonna remove the grids from this point. It's just too much information. Right click on it, hide in view the category as well. And what I'm going to create a section to check all my design options. So I'm going to create a section here, looking up. By default, it takes the entire building. I don't want to see this wall in here, so I want to see just a regular cut. I'm going to right click on the view, and I'll go to it. Okay. Again, of course, the reference planes is a 3D element that shows up in all the views. What I'm going to do, right click on it, hide in view category. I don't know, I don't need to do this anymore. Okay, the idea here is that I'm going to go shaded as well, so it's a bit clear. I can see my building path, and yeah. Yeah, one of the problems that I have here is that my building path um, it's not the correct thickness. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna edit this type. I don't need to duplicate because I only really gonna have one building path. So I'm gonna come here. The thickness is gonna be 900. I'm gonna say okay, apply, okay. Okay, so now it's a bit more realistic. Um, And one thing that I really want to notice is that my level 2, it's a bit too high. 4000, it doesn't really represent what I'm going to do in there. So just going to select this height. I'm going to go 2700 millimeters. So then I can create my roof, my internals, and everything is a bit more to correct scale. Of course, this value is something that you need to check with your own PDF. So if you go to Fronter and check the PDF about the project, I need to take some dimensions and check the correct height. This will change from person to person. It's not going to be 100% correct. So you need to agree on your group what kind of dimensions you need to take from these drawings. Okay, back to Revit. What I want to do now, I want to do a roof, and according to the Kingo house, I'm gonna have a single roof on this side, and this one is gonna be a double one, and that's something that I'm gonna create now. Let's see. I'll do it in Revit. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to level 2. And if you notice here in level 2, I again right click on it, hide in view into the category. It's a bit easier. I can see my walls underneath. Some of you can maybe not see the walls, and the way you control that, you have to define an underlay on your view itself. So I'm on level 2, but I want to see level 1. From level 1 to level 2, and I want to look down, and that's correct. That's what I want. Another option that you might have in a different way, I can select my underlay objects because I have the select underlay elements option activated. So if I don't want to select my underlay elements, I click on the X. So at the moment I'm not able to select my underlay elements. It doesn't matter how many times I tab. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to select this because I want to construct my roof according to my walls one more time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come to architecture. I'm going to come to roof, and I have several options to create a roof. At this stage, the most appropriate tool is to use roof by footprint. And again, I'm going to select the pick walls command. Define slope, yes, overhanging. I'm not going to care about these details for the moment. What I'm going to do, I'm going to select the first one. I have to flip it, and I'm going to continue selecting all the walls. There is something here that I want you guys to notice, is that I don't want to have a pitch roof on this side, so I want to be just a regular roof with one pitch. So I'm going to select this line. So I get out of all the commands, I select the line, and at the moment says 30. And if I come here to the option, to the properties of this line, I'll say here defines roof slope. I'll say no, it doesn't define the roof slope. And also this one in my design, I don't know you guys if you want to have a slope in this one. Sorry, and this one, it doesn't also define a slope in my design, and in my design this one doesn't define a slope as well. So let's see how it looks. I'm just going to create it just for the moment, and I'm going to see it into a 3D. It's just easier. It's looking something like this. Okay, what I want here, I want these lines to align with the same within the same corner. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to move the arrows up and down. So what I'm doing here, I'm changing the slope of this roof. That's okay by me. One thing that I'm going to do, I need to attach these walls to the roof and these walls again. So because in the beginning I said that I wanted to create a chain out of my walls on the options bar, now I can select all of them in one go. So the way I do it is that I hover into one mouse, so it's pre-selected. I tab, so then I select all the walls. I click with my mouse, and then I'm going to attach this top base to the roof. So the walls, they just follow the contours of the roof, and this is what I want. So at the moment my design is taking some shape, and I need to start and changing my walls, because at the moment what I have is just generic walls. What I'm gonna do, I'm going to select something similar to what I want. So I'm going to use uh, exterior brick on metal stud, exterior brick on CMU. Probably I'm going to use brick block metal stud CMU. I'm going to use this one, is the most close to mine. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to edit this type, and I'm going to duplicate this wall. So I'm going to call exterior wall, brick, um, brick, and I'm gonna say something here so then I can relate to it in the future. So I know that I have created this wall. So I'm gonna say Kea. You feel free to use your group number or your group name or your name as well. So then it's another, because what we are doing here, we are putting some metadata on the name, and this metadata, depending on the group, you might want to use the name of the person responsible for this creation. So I'll say group one, and I'm going to use my initials on the project, so then I know that it was me who created this wall, and everybody knows if this wall is wrong, so it's me to blame, and it's my responsibility that I've taken from this wall. So this is the name only, and it continues to have the same parameters as the previous wall. So I'm going to edit this structure inside. So bricks in Denmark, they have different dimensions. I'm going to have 108 for the brick. My air cavity is going to be 28. I don't have rigid insulation. I'm going to have thermal layer again, and this is going to be rock wool. So I'm going to select another material for it. I'm going to come here and I'm going to say rock wool. Rock wool. I don't have it in my project. I only have this type of materials in my project. When I search for some of you might have a different layout when you're selecting the materials. So some of you might have something like this. So you are searching for rock, nothing shows up. You have to open your material libraries from your computer, and so now Revit is looking inside your project and inside your machine, and in your machine there is something really close to it. Rock wool, that's the material that we're looking for. We just pull this up to document. In this case, document is the project itself. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to push this to my project. So now it's in my project, and I'm going to double click to select this to be in my walls. So now it's rock wool. The dimension of it is going to be 170 in my case. I can have a damp-proof membrane. I don't think it's something that you care at this moment, so I'm just going to delete this layer. The structure here is not going to be concrete masonry units. It's going to be something different. It's going to be aerated concrete. So I'm just going to search for concrete. And once more, I don't have anything in my project that really represents the aerated concrete. So I'm going to search on my computer. So concrete, I'm searching for aerated. Yeah, here it is. I'm going to push this to my project again. I'm going to double click on it. And now my project has double as aerated concrete. The dimensions of it is going to be 100 millimeters. After the core boundary, I'm going to use a finish layer. So this is going to be a finish. And this is going to be plaster. Just a render, plaster render. I'm going to use this plaster here. And it's going to be 1 millimeter of plaster render. The second finish is going to be paint. I don't have anything in here on my I have it here on my document on my computer, so I'm going to push it to my project, double click on it again, 1 millimeter. And so this is going to be my wall. My wall is going to be a basic wall. This type is going to be G1, created by me, exterior wall in brick. Total thickness is going to be 408. This resistance is the inverse of the U value. I can use this value here, but I need to confirm by my own calculations. I should never trust Revit. Thermal mass, we don't use it at the moment, so I'll just say it's okay by me, or just okay by me. So at the moment, this wall in here, that's the one I have with my for my group. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hover my mouse on top of one, tab to select the entire chain of walls, and I'm gonna change this to be my own wall. So there it is now. It's a bit more correct. Also the facade, something that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hide this, so um, hide the category of topography as well. And something that I notice here is that my foundation also follows the thickness of the new wall and everything. So everything it's according to plan. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back to level 1. So now I see my interior. And one thing that I'm doing here is that everything looks a bit just, it doesn't have the layers, it doesn't show anything, because I have to change my detail level to be fine on this view, so then I start to see the layers. And that is something here that I really would like to change, and that's the insulation layer. It should be yellow, so then it's just easier for me to understand the layers of this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to the wall, I'm going to edit this type again. On the structures, on the rock wool material, I'm going to change the way it displays. So I'm going to come to its appearance, and this appearance at the moment, the color is just gray. I'm going to select yellow for the color, so now it's a bit more rock woolish. I'm going to go to graphics. I want to use the render appearance on the graphics as well, so now it should become yellow. I'm going to say apply and okay. So now it's a bit better. Now I can really understand what's happening in here. So now I'm going to take care of the interior walls, and the way I'm going to construct it is just going to be parametric wise as well. So if I change my overall dimensions of my building, my internals, they will follow some rules, and we're going to learn how to achieve this. So same way, I'm on level 1, so I'm going to select a wall. I want to do a wall here. I'm going to do lines, yeah, that's correct. Height, yes, I'm going to go build up. Good, level 2, that's correct by me. And I want to finish face exterior. Now, in this case, I'm going to use wall center line, so it might be a bit more correct. Chain is allowed, and the join is also allowed. I don't want to build generic again. What I want to do, I'm going to go interior, and I'm gonna build something like interior 123, but again, I need to create my own, so I'm gonna go inside, and I'm gonna check my structure. Gypsum wall board 16. Yeah, that's not really what I want, because 16 in Denmark, it's gonna be 12.5. So that's the thickness of one gypsum board. And what I need to create, I need to duplicate this one, because we use two gypsum boards on interior walls as a rule. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put two walls, one on the interior side and one on the exterior side, and I'll just get back to you. The way I do it is insert. So I'm just gonna copy finish to, and I'm gonna gypsum. So I'm gonna select for gypsum. Should the gypsum wallboard? Yeah, I'm gonna select this one, the same as the other one, and again 12.5. I'm gonna do the same on the exterior side, on the interior side. Sorry. So I'm gonna just add another layer, and again it's gonna be finished to, and gypsum again. So gypsum wallboard, here it is, and I'm gonna go 12.5 in this one, and also 12.5 in this one. The metal stud layer, of course, I have to check my manufacturer, and everything needs to be documented. So I'm just going to use a 70 millimeters wall stud layer, and my total thickness is going to be 120. Okay, so this is fine by me. And what I need to do here, I need to change the name. I need to change the name of this wall, so it's going to be interior wall. Wall is going to be 120 millimeters. 120 millimeters partition. I'm going to remove the 1 hour name, and I'm going to do the same. So G1 underscore my initials, and I know that this is created for this project and it's created by me. This is fine by now. One thing, yeah, everything. So construction, yes, everything is fine by now. Okay, so I'm doing my wall from the center line, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create something really fast in here, something. Then I will explain how to make sure that everything follows according to plan. I know that my design is going to look something like this. So from here to here, and then I have another wall. I should have another wall in here. So the idea of here is to create 2 single bedrooms and a master bedroom. And I have some irregularities in here, so I have to fix the distance in here. So first things first, I need to align this wall with this finish in here. So what I need to do, I need to come in here and say that I need to I'm going to cancel out of here. I need to modify, I need to align until this direction. I need to align this finish wall. And something important that happens here, as you see here, we have this lock sign, and this lock sign keeps the alignment. Even if I move this wall, it keeps this alignment. So I'm going to force it to align. Yeah, and that's it for now. So the idea is that if I move this wall in here, this one will follow. I'm just going to undo this step. Another thing that I know that this corridor needs to have a certain dimension, so I'm gonna click in this one, and as you notice, so I'm going from wall to wall, and it's 1930, so I need to come in here and say it's going to be whatever, 1200. It's going to be my corridor width. And something that I need to do, I need to lock this dimension again, so then if I move this wall, this corridor will follow, and we'll always have 1200. I don't trust me on this value. It might not be correct. You need to talk to your related teachers, so then this number will be correct. For now, I'm just gonna undo the step, so Control Z, and I'm gonna check if this is locked. Yes, it is. Okay, another one that I have in here is that I need to make sure that these bedrooms, they have exactly the same spacing, so there's no short bedroom. So what I'm going to create a dimension that goes from this edge of the wall. So I have tab from this edge to the center of this wall, and again to the edge of the next wall. So it's going to look something like this. At the moment they are not equal, they are close but not equal, and I can force them to be equal by clicking on this point in here. So I know that this is equal, so my design is becoming more and more parametric. If I move this wall now, the rooms, they also follow, and everything follows. The foundation, the roof, the bed, everything follows my design, and that's what I really want, because in the future I might want to change some dimensions of my design. I'm just gonna place some interior walls. Probably what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move this, I'm gonna unlock this, and I'm gonna force it to be I'm gonna force it to be 1500. I don't really know the requirements. You should look for them, but the requirements, of course, is the minimum. I can always go up to more dimensions, and what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna click in here, I'm gonna lock it again. So then it looks a bit more natural, this design. So as you notice now, I cannot print this view because this is a working view where I have these equal dimensions and everything. It's locked in place, and this is aligned. So I see this alignment locked with this wall and everything. So this is not really a working. This is a working view, not a printing view. So I'm gonna come here. and I'm going to rename this view to be level 1 working view. And because what I'm going to do for printing, I'm going to duplicate this view and I'm going to annotate it in a different way, completely different way, depending on what stage of the project I'm in. So I'm just gonna to rename the corresponding level and the views. I want to say no. So the level I want to be still called level number 1, and that's what I want. Okay. Following the design, I noticed that I have these 2 bedrooms in here. They're quite long, yeah. And I will have a deposit in here, some kind of technical room, and then I will have my kitchen with these 2 big windows. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create 2 internal walls with an L shape. I'm gonna do the opening after, and this opening also after. For now, I'm just gonna try to replicate this area into my design. So on the my design, just going to select one internal wall. I'm going to click CS for creating similar, and I don't care about the location for now. I'm just going to create some walls, um, something like this, and I'm going to create another one for the deposit in here. So, and here and here. I want this one to be equal again because on my design they look pretty equal to me. So I'm going to create a dimension in here from this face to the center to the other face, and I'm going to press to be equal. Something that I want to do, I want to move them a bit to the center, so then they are more related to my design as something really similar now. Probably this one you went too far. Yeah, so I think it's aligned with this wall in here. Again, I can also create an alignment and force it to be aligned. So if you see here, I see this alignment in here, and that's what I'm going to create. So align shortcut AL. I'm going to select the reference, and this is going to be aligned with this one, and I want to lock this reference. So again, if I change my design, my reference will follow. Something that I noticed as well is that my corridor in this area should be a bit more like the other one. So I'm gonna aim for 2000. So this dimension should be 2000. Of course, this will change according to your designs. But try to keep everything parametric, so then when we add it in the future, it will become a bit easier to construct as well. So I'm going to select this wall, and I'm going to go, no, maybe 2000 is too much. I'm going to keep the 1500 again. So 1500, it's a bit better now. Something that I'm going to create in here, I'm going to create the openings for my kitchen. 1500 divided by 2, that's okay, yeah. So something that I just noticed now is that if we go back to the original design, so we have this corridor in here that goes from so we still go to the living room. So, and then actually this wall actually is not aligned with the other external wall in here. So what I'm gonna do in here, I'm gonna remove this alignment, I'm gonna remove this force alignment, I'm gonna give it a certain distances, keep it forced to a certain distance, and I'm gonna have these 2 dimensions in here. So I'm gonna give 1000 from this wall to this wall and 1000 from this wall to this wall. So I'm gonna remove this dimension, I'm gonna delete this dimension, I'm gonna go and say that this wall is not locked anymore with the alignment, so I can disalign it now. So I need to move this wall a certain distance. I don't care for the moment now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create a dimension here, tab to the face, tab again to the face, and I'm gonna force this to be 1000. And again, I'm gonna create another dimension here. Actually, no, if I want to keep the same distance all the way through, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come here, edit to witness lines. I'm not gonna remove any witness line. I'm just gonna add another one to this one, and I'm gonna say that they are equal. Okay, so they are equal, but they need to be 2000. So I'll come here, another dimension on top of this one, and I'm gonna force this to be 2000. Sorry, not 200, 2000. And yes, so now I know that I have 1000 on this side and 1000 on this side, and this might help on my design. I keep noticing some changes on my design. So what I notice here is that this wall continues to this direction, and he has a door in here. So it's not the way I was doing it before. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna remove this alignment, and I'm gonna create another alignment. So AL, I'm gonna say that this is the reference and this is the interior line here. I'm gonna lock it now, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just extend this wall to touch this wall. The letter walls overlap, geometry in each other, and it's fine by me. Probably not until the end, so I'm just gonna go until here. Okay, so now this wall is it's correct. I'm just gonna place a door in here. I have another problem because I know for a fact that in this area here, so in this area here, I don't have space to place a door because it's 1000, but it's counting with the wall thickness, so I'm losing a bit of terrain in here. So what I'm gonna do, um, I'm gonna remove these constraints. So I'm gonna say they can be not equal. I'm gonna delete this one. No, actually, I'm not gonna delete it. I'm gonna move this wall. So I select the wall that I want to move. I'm gonna give it more 500, so 2500. And now I think I can fit a door now, so I have a bit more space into my internal wall. Something here that I don't really appreciate as well, this is too narrow in my opinion. I'm just gonna have a dimension inside just to check the dimension from. So yeah, it's a bit too narrow. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just move it to be 1000 from the inside. I can click in here and go 1000. So because this dimension is locked to the EQ, I cannot edit its value from here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create another dimension from here, tab, and instead of editing this wall, I'm going to edit this one to 1000. And because it's equal, so both will have the same dimension now. Okay, I'm going to play a little bit more with my design. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create the opening here and here's according to the design. So then I have some, I know that from here to here is 600 because that's my cabins from the kitchen. It's going to be 600 depth. So I'm going to create an opening on this wall. So I select the wall, and I'm gonna split the element with a gap. So I'm gonna click in here, I'm gonna split the wall from I don't have a dimension from now, no, not really a good dimension. I can edit this in the future. So I'm from split from here to here. I'm gonna select this element in here, I'm gonna delete. What is gonna happen to this one, I'm gonna just create a reference plane. I can split it as well. That's what I'm going to do. It's just easier. So I'm going to come in here, split with a gap. So I'm just going to do something like this, and I'm going to delete this part of it, so it's a bit more correct. So I'm going to put some dimensions in here, so then I know that it's going to be 600. So it's not 600 for the moment. but I can force it to be 600, something like this. I can delete this. No, I'm just gonna keep it for now. I'm gonna check this dimension. Maybe I want to have. I'm gonna check this gap from here to here. 1009. I can force it to be 1000, maybe 1000. Um, and to keep consistency, I'm gonna use the same dimension from here to here. I'm gonna have the same dimension. So I'm going to have another dimension here from this face till here, 644. And what I want this one to be 644, but not from the, I'm just going to control undo this step, create a dimension from this face till the end. I'm going to go and say that this is going to be 644, 644. So it's a bit closer to my design. If I check here, it's a bit closer to my design purposes in here. Okay, so at this stage my 3D design it's almost done. Okay, I'm missing some doors and windows, but I'm just gonna create some furniture. I'm gonna maybe download some furniture from BIMobject, maybe from another website, maybe from another manufacturer. This video is becoming 55 minutes now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place my furniture and then we'll get back to the video. I'm just going to do the first so then everybody knows how to place furniture. What I'm going to do here. So to place the furniture, I'll go to Architectural tab, to Components, and I have Model in Place. I can model in place, but it really takes me too much work. So I'm just going to place a component. I'm going to check what I have. Nothing really applies to what I need in here. I need some beds, I need some kitchen. So what I need to do, I need to come and load family. Load family. And what happens in here is that I'll just make sure that you are in the US metric library on your computer. I'm going to show you my directory, so your directory should be more or less the same. So try to follow this path. If you cannot find, pause the video now. Try to find this path on your computer because your installation should be similar to mine, and we just follow this path and go to the US metric. After the US metric, what we're gonna do, we're gonna look for furniture. So double clicking it, I'm gonna use some beds. Yes, I'm gonna select the beds that I really want. So I have double bed, bunker, hospital bed, single, and bed as standard. I think I'm gonna use this one. It's a bit more complex. The geometry is a bit cleaner, so I'm gonna use this one. So I have the bed on my project now. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna place one bed. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just space. If you click space, it rotates according to the direction you are. I'm just gonna place the bed in here, just with a gap in here. And what I'm gonna do, instead of creating another bed in here, I'm just gonna mirror this bed. So I'm gonna mirror pick axis. So I need to pick the axis only. The copy is by default. Yes, I want to copy. So mirror the bed. That's it. I have two beds now. I'm gonna do the rest of the furniture. Feel free when you are loading a family. So when you are loading a family, feel free to explore all the other families, and I'll go back to you when my design is finished. Okay, so at this stage, I placed my furniture. I had to do some adjustments. I created another interior wall I did a walk-in closet behind the bed. I did some adjustments to my design. I also increased this wall following if I activate again the reference planes. I did this wall according to the reference planes. I have changed it a little bit. So of course this is personal tasting. Maybe it's not the best. You have your own. And the idea here is that every house on every group it will be different, of course, because different persons. So That's the idea for now. I'm just going to hide in view the entire category again. And what I need to do now, I noticed that my design has an external wall on the courtyard, so I'm going to do that now. So in order to create that, I'm just going to create a wall. And what I did, I duplicated the internal wall, and I have created my own one. So it's gonna is this one, and the structure of this wall, it's brick, concrete cast in place 200, and then brick again. So it's brick on the two faces. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna create the wall in here, finish face on the other side, of course, and I'm gonna align it to the one that I have on top. Yes, it's aligning, and I'm just gonna close it down here. Exit the command. I have a problem here because I might have a cold bridge in here, and this junction is not the one I really want. So what I need to do, I need to come to modify, and then on the geometry panel I'm going to select what kind of wall joints do I want. So I click on the command. Now I select the wall joint that I want to tackle, and in this one I just go next. Yeah, pretty, that's more or less what I want. No, no, no. Yeah, this one works for me. I might have let me see the square of, yeah, I'm gonna keep this one. I'm gonna do the same in here, so select the same, square of this one, so that's similar to the other one. I'm gonna watch this into 3D, so I'm gonna go into 3D. Yeah, that's more or less what I want. I need to put some foundations as well, so the easiest way to do it, it's again um, select one of the foundations. I'm gonna click on the oh yeah, because I'm still on the command for the walls. Click on one, CS control similar, create similar, select the walls that I want to create, and that's it. I need to make sure that my roof now it's correct because I needed some adjustments into the wall. What I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna drop this one, drop a little bit more, something like that. If I want to be really precise, I'm just gonna go to this area and I'm gonna really go and make sure that it's completely aligned. Yeah. I'm gonna use this curvature here to define my slope in here, and then I'll get to a certain height and I'm just gonna continue with it. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm just gonna edit this wall profile. I'm gonna go to the elevation view, and I'm gonna use this line as, I'm gonna pick this line actually, so then it's correct. I'm gonna extend it just to use it as a reference. I'm gonna create another line, and this time I'm gonna have an offset of 600, so then I know that maybe a bit more, maybe 800. I'm gonna use this line from now. What I need to do now, I need to trim. So trim, you can use trim in here. Trim, that's the command. TR, that's the shortcut. So TR, I'm gonna keep these two. I want to delete this line in here. I'm gonna trim these two again. Trim this one with this one. So I should have a closed loop, not yet. I'm gonna trim this two. I have a closed loop now. And with the offset 800 just follows the roof. I'm gonna say OK. Save the project again. I need to do the same for this one, so I just go to this side, select this one, edit profile again. Same technique, pick up this one, no offset. I'm gonna extend it just a little bit. I'm gonna pick lines again, give it an offset of 800. and I'm going to select this line, shortcut trim, delete this line in here, trim these two again, and I'm missing this trim in the end, finish. So it's looking a bit better now according to my design. Of course, I'm still missing the topography. So if I bring the topography now and hide in view by category, then it starts to look a bit more like my design. So at this moment I'm missing to put some walls, and that's my some walls, some doors and some windows, and that's what I'm gonna do now. So I'm gonna go to level 1 again. I'm gonna place some doors in here according to the design. I have an internal door in here, two doors in here. I don't think I'm gonna do this one in here. Let's see if the design allows me. I'm gonna put some windows according to the design, and that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so at this moment I need to come to architecture. I need doors. The ones on my project, they don't really suit my, it's just internals. I need to load a family. So I need to load a family. I need to go back to the US metric library, and I'm going to look at doors. I'm going to look at the resident. I'm going to see these ones for now. This is for curtain walls, nothing, some garage. I'm going to go look at residential houses, residential doors, and I'm going to select maybe this one for exterior. Yeah, it looks good to me. Maybe this one is a bit simpler. I like this one. So I'm going to select this one. I'm going to select their dimension. I want 2.1 height, and I'm going to select 900. Say OK. I'm going to select the location of the door. So I'm going to flip the door with the space bar somewhere here in the middle, somewhere in the middle of the corridor. I'm going to create another one here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Maybe this one should be a bit slimmer, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna load, so I load a 900 one. I'm gonna load another one, but in this time, instead of being 900, I'm gonna go to 800 times 210, so it's a bit shorter now, something like this. Yeah, I'm going to flip this door for the inside. Yeah, something like this, so then it opens towards the inside. Yeah, on doors I think I'm served now. What I'm missing is some windows, and I need some doors slash windows into this rooms. I might still have to change my design because my doors, they need to fit the brick bond, and I'll have a look into it later when I am doing just windows and openings in the building. For now, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna do the same, but I'm gonna create some windows, and feel free to do the same. Feel free to download your windows from another manufacturer or from the libraries that you have on your computer. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna create all my windows, and after that we will go and adjust our dimensions to the brick bond and to all the necessities. Okay, so something that I've noticed is that um, under the doors, the wall doesn't exist anymore. And if we come here to the 3D, then of course there is no wall, and the foundation disappears because there is no wall to be attached to. One of the solutions is to raise the doors. It's enough to raise 1 millimeter. If we raise 1 millimeter, then we have a little 1 millimeter wall beneath, so then it creates the foundation. So then it's a good idea to select all the doors and raise their offset by 1 millimeter. So that's what I'm gonna do now. So 1 millimeter. At this stage, all the foundations should appear, and my design would be more or less ready to start annotating. But one thing that I'm going to make sure is that my openings on my the openings on the walls, they follow the brick pattern. So I'm gonna activate again the grids. So unhide in view by category, and at this stage I'm just going to reorganize my openings and my doors, so then I make sure that they follow the grid system. One thing that I have noticed is that, for instance, this window, it's 1800, and it doesn't follow the grid, because if I align AL this reference and I'm going to do the window, this doesn't follow my grid system, so I have to increase this window for 120. Actually it's half a brick, but anyway, I'm going to force it to be more than 120, so it's going to raise the size. So the size is going to be equal to 1800 plus 120, and that is 190, 1920. I'm gonna rename 1920. I'm gonna rename this type. I'm gonna say apply. Okay, all of them, they are adapted, but now I need to align again. Align this one to this one. I'm gonna give it a space of 2, something like that. Maybe I'm gonna move them one to the right, something like that, so it's more equally separated. Same here, I'm gonna move them down, this one, and same here. So now it's aligned with all the bricks. I'm gonna do the same. I might have to change these doors here. I want them to be flushed, so I'm just gonna do a trial here. Of course it's not gonna be correct, but Control Z out of here. I'm gonna align to this reference, this door here, and I have to rearrange the door sizes so then they fit the grid system. That's something that I'm going to edit the doors to have the correct size. I'll be back with you when this is done. Okay, so everything got adjusted now. So for instance, this door is going to have half a brick on this side. It's going to be 840. This one here is going to be 960. All the other windows, they have been already adjusted. I'm just missing these 2 windows, something that I'm going to do before we go to the next video. The next video is going to be to pick up from here, and we're going to annotate our drawing, so then we can print it in the next video as well. So next video is going to be about annotation, and I can't we just go there and just finalize the annotation part, and we're going to print the outline proposal drawings and the project proposal drawings.